Okay, hello, everyone say a nice big hello!
Hello.
Hello. Well, that was somewhat of a hello, but nice big. That may be like overhyping it, like when they say that someone fell off like a 35-foot ladder and clearly they're about 8 foot in the air. Like I saw a clip the other day. Taz said like someone fell off a ladder back in WWE, and he said they fell 35 feet, and it's like there was like someone stood like at the bottom of the ladder. It's like unless that's a 25-foot person, then this ain't happening. But anyway, on the show tonight we have Capital Thave. Say hello to the people, and if you have one, give us an interesting wrestling factoid.
No, I have, because I have returned.
You
with
have.
2 facts. Yes, one is the typical John Cena fashion. When John Cena tried out wrestling, there was a talent scout who was actually scouting for his partner because he was in as a tag wrestler.
Wait, hang on. You're saying John Cena has tried out wrestling? Why did I never know this?
No, meaning that he wasn't like doing it like an idea that he was doing as a career, but he just wanted to do pro wrestling, and he started doing it, and he was in a tag match. And the WWE scout was actually looking for the tag team partner, but instead they found John Cena.
Do you know who his tag team partner was?
I have no idea. I have no idea what happened to him.
Wow. Okay, that's super interesting. Cap, I am willing to say you get a point straight off just for that. But Cap, I think you said you had 2 facts today.
Yes.
Okay, so Cap, before you say it, because I've already said you get a point. If this is a really bad fact, I'm going to take the point away. Right. Okay. Go for it.
Okay, I'm willing to risk it. So, you know that Muhammad Ali was known as the greatest trash talker of all time, and he got that trait because of a pro wrestler. He visited a pro wrestler named Gorgeous George, who was an American wrestler, who is a flamboyant character who always played a heel, and people would just show up to saw him get beat. And Muhammad Ali kind of used that in boxing and kind of transferred the heel versus face idea to this boxing sport and also MMA.
Wow. Okay. How about that? So, Cap, I'm going to give you 1 point there. But we also have on the show tonight Darius. Say hello to the people and give us some factoid.
Hello. Well, it's probably a known fact, but ECW almost got bought out by Disney.
Wow, I don't actually think I knew that one. When was that?
Yeah. I think it was the late 90s, somewhere around there. It might not have been directly, but it was by Buena Vista, who at the time were run by, or still are run by Disney. And they almost signed the paperwork, and I think the way Heyman explains it, they actually watched what ECW was and changed their mind, because it wasn't Disney friendly.
Somehow that doesn't quite fit the Disney profile. That's an interesting fact. I did not know that. The one thing, I'm going to give you a point, but the one thing I knew like similar to that is when they had the ECW video game, the company that like developed it bought a stake in ECW, and then because ECW was closing down, they just decided they were like, we're not going to give you any of the money from the royalties, because they could see that they would close down before they'd get it. And there may have been an issue of them trying to say we own a portion of ECW as well. But yeah. Okay. TJ, say hello to the people.
Hey, I'm TJ, and as usual, I'm reporting from my mom's basement because that's where wrestling fans live, especially AEW marks like me. So I have a couple of wrestling facts since we had the draft lottery or the draft. John Cena is the wrestler to be drafted number 1 the most amount of times. Kelly is the only female wrestler to be drafted, to be the first draft pick. I think in 2008, the US title became exclusive to ECW for a while due to the draft, and the ECW world title has been a part of Raw twice due to the draft. Again, briefly. Speaking of that, Triple H is the only wrestler to be drafted to both Raw and SmackDown as the WWE champion, while CM Punk is the only wrestler to be drafted to both Raw and SmackDown as the Money in the Bank holder. And finally, John Cena is the only wrestler to be drafted to both Raw and SmackDown on the same night.
Wow. Okay, TJ, I feel like you probably deserve 20 points there, but I'm just going to give you one. Sorry. So was that like because that was loads of facts? Did you have another fact, or was that?
The other fact is that this year's draft sucked.
Facts. I'm going to give you a point for that because I enjoyed it.
You win. Let's go.
And hello, Gav. Hello.
How you guys doing? You good?
Yes, good. Do you have an interesting fact for us?
Okay. As everyone's going for 2 right now, I'm going to go for 2. Well, I'm going to try. Number 1, with the draft that you're talking about, Asuka was not picked.
Oh, so what? She's not been drafted?
No.
But Carmella was picked.
Yeah. So, what's going on?
Yeah, I think because I'll be honest, I haven't like caught up on everything that's happened in the last week myself with all of the drafts and that. Are there some people that are like completely brandless now? Because it always seems to happen where a couple.
So apparently, what they're saying is, if you're not drafted, you can go to either Raw or SmackDown, like whichever show you want to.
So Bailey's a free agent as well then?
Bailey's a free agent as well.
So being the last one picked for the school team then just means you get to choose which team you're on for football. Yeah. That's amazing. Okay, well that's an interesting fact. But Gav, did you have another one?
And the other one, coming back to your Muhammad Ali, forgot your name there, the gap. Sorry. The other one is back in the day, Jake the Snake Roberts was in a tag match. And Muhammad Ali was actually an enforcer in that match. Jake was taking a few shots from Muhammad Ali, but he refused to go down. He said that he wasn't going to go down because he has to come back the next week. Muhammad Ali doesn't.
Do you know what? That's interesting. If I was now, I'm sure Muhammad Ali would have just been completely like professional. I would have been like, "You're going down." We were speaking about this last week, where people like if they're not going to do the job, then sometimes you have to put them down. I'd have just put him down. But with this, let's go on to our first proper round where we're going to discuss. Now, audience, if we did this recently, if everyone is convinced we did this recently, maybe like I'm just losing my mind. But I think we should discuss here who is the greatest mid-card talent of all time. And if we've done it, then we'll go on to another one soon and I'll shut up about it. But who is the greatest mid-card talent of all time? And for this, like I'd say that we won't disqualify someone if they have been in a main event. But there are some people that so clearly, even if they've got to the main event, it might have been that 90% of their career they were in the mid-card, or it may be that even after main eventing or getting a world title, they just belong forever in the mid-card. They go there. Any thoughts, Cap?
I say Rey Mysterio because most of his matches. Well, I know it's kind of controversial, but as far as I know, like even the feuds like with Edge and everything, I think the Edge match was the one that I actually enjoyed.
Okay, hang on, Cap. So, like, we can hear more like thoughts on this, but I think just to begin with, like, Cap, you're entitled to your thoughts, but I would say that even if he doesn't always get like main event matches, surely he's a main event talent.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio, I would have him as a main event talent.
I've got one here for you.
Okay, so Cap, let's just before we come back to you, Cap, we could be convinced otherwise. So, you know, you've perhaps got a tiny bit of a more uphill battle here, but, you know, plead your case.
Well, my case is that most of the matches that I've seen, like, it's usually, like, not the main event, usually, like, in the middle of the show, and they're great matches. I'm not denying that it's not a great match. It's Rey Mysterio is on one of a hell of a performance, but it's always left in the middle one. It's like, before your lunch break. It's like your lunch. That's how most of his matches are, and you're always waiting for the main course. But I would say, like, when he was on the wrestling continuously, is that there was a lot more talent, like Triple H, John Cena, there were much more going around. And at that time, he did seem like the mid card. But right now, if you compare to today's person, I would say, yeah, he would be the main event player.
Well, see, the thing is, he seems much more mid card the way he's treated nowadays. But I'd say
well,
that he has
like
reached the level.
But can I say
talent,
something?
I would say he's high.
Yeah, go on, TJ.
So I respect your opinion, but if what you're saying, if you're considering that CM Punk was a mid-carder during his 434-day title run because he was always in the middle of the card. I think he main evented like 2 pay-per-views while he was the WWE champion. So
yeah, that's an interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. So are you? Wait, so are you trying to say that you think CM Punk?
I'm not. I'm just refuting
He did.
Cap's opinion. I'm not saying I have someone else.
He did. He definitely did to some degree. Okay. But no. So there's a good point from it because obviously, being world champion doesn't necessarily mean that you ever truly escape the mid card. But by the same token, like, how long was Andre the Giant world champion for? But no one would ever dream of saying that. Oh yeah, do you remember that? What was that mid carder called? Andre the. You know. Anyway, Gav, what were you going to come in with?
I was going to go. I've got a few.
Okay.
I've got 3 that came to mind. Jinder Mahal. Like, he's the big one. Jake Hager, Jack Swagger.
Oh yeah, I feel it. I'm definitely feeling that one.
Yeah.
No Chin, James Ellsworth.
I've got 2 in mind.
Okay, yeah, okay. Let's go round. Here's some nominees.
Yeah.
So TJ and then Darius.
Okay, so I've got 2 in mind. The first one, I can't believe none of you said this. Owen Hart. I mean, one can argue that you can't exactly, because of the tragedy that happened, you can't arguably say that he would have been in the mid card if things would have been otherwise. But the time he was there, he was arguably the best mid carder of at least of that time. The other one I would say is Cesaro. Like, if you think of the one person who should be a world champion at least once but has never won the gold, Cesaro. Not even as a transitional champion.
Yeah.
So,
okay, these are interesting ones. We can dig into all of them in a moment. But okay, Darius, who are yours?
Well, mid-carders, so it's got to be Steve Blackman and Al Snow.
Yeah.
Very
Okay. I'm definitely feeling Al Snow there as what I'm instantly on board with that as a strong nominee. Wow. Okay. So let's to give a couple of thoughts from me, and then we can start to dig into any of what each other have said. The ones that come to my mind is, I suppose, in a more modern context, I think it's Dolph Ziggler is the ultimate mid-carder, absolute mid-carder. You know. Then I suppose going back in time a little bit more, I feel that perhaps like Hardcore Holly is just someone who is synonymous as a mid-carder. It pains me to say it because I feel that he should have always been bigger than this, but maybe even like in WWE and WCW at least, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig was just like this, you know, never given close to a main event push there, but obviously former AWA world champion, so debates where you see that. But I'm sure, and Chavo Guerrero, Jeff Jarrett, despite his many world titles, to me is an example of an ultimate mid-carder. But yeah, let's start to pick apart any thoughts people have got. Gav.
Got one more for you.
Okay.
And great talent. I just don't see him at that level. Cody Rhodes.
Cody
Rhodes.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Quite possibly. Like, I don't know if he's just completely disqualified himself, because he could have gone the Jeff Jarrett Triple H route of that we often bring up nowadays about the fact he could have just made himself the main eventer, but he decided to do the storyline of, oh, I'm never going to be the world champion. But yeah, okay. Cap, are we?
I feel like the Miz, like in modern times, is also really
true,
good.
but he has main evented WrestleMania.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, that shows you how much of a mid-carder Miz really is. Not because he didn't main event WrestleMania. That was just the prelude to The Rock versus John Cena. You were there. You were there. Oh my God, Gav, that's a story in itself.
There is one name that I feel should be mentioned, but I'm almost certain no one's gonna pick this person. But because we are talking about mid-carders, great mid-carders, so I'm talking. So this person's from the New Japan side, Tomohiro Ishii. Tomohiro Ishii is an amazing mid-carder, and like it's not his wrestling that's keeping him down. It's just that he's not that big, not even in Japan. So
when you mean that big, do you mean stature-wise?
No, I meant, so again, he was never seen as a main event. Gedo never saw him as a main event talent.
Yeah. Okay. Any other? Another one that comes to my mind. I wouldn't say this is a winner of it, but the Big Boss Man. I just feels like absolute solid mid-carder, but not really seen as the main event. But I don't know what out of ones that people have said. Are there any that people want to agree with, disagree with?
Well, for Rey Mysterio, I would say that even though he was treated as a mid-card, people did want to make him a main event. Like, the fans had his support. No, he had the fan support. Words. So I would say I'm willing to back out on that one because we all wanted Rey Mysterio to be a main event player. So by our thoughts, I'm thinking like, so he deserves to be in the main event.
Do you know, I just think though, like, even if it was because of the circumstance at the time, like everything around the passing of Eddie Guerrero, and then people rallying that they wanted Ray to like go on and win the World Championship, the Royal Rumble, and then clearly they weren't even going to give him. They gave him the Royal Rumble win, but then were like going to take it away from him. Yeah, it was like the stupidest storyline. But and then
by John Cena.
Yeah. But then that he would then go on and then win it. He had it for I think a few months. He would then win the world title, the WWE title, even if he lost it on the same show. But I don't know. I feel that Mysterio is someone who is absolutely done enough so that he's solidified as a main event talent.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, I think he's. Yeah. Okay, who else did we have? Al Snow is one that jumped out to me. We can come back to anyone that anyone else remembers, but
Applaud for that guy as well.
for Al Snow.
Yes.
He saved someone's life.
Oh my God, yeah. So let's just Gav, do you want to give the context to that if anyone hasn't
I
heard
can't remember
this?
the whole details, to be honest with you.
Okay, so I do know this story. The story was that, and the thing that's quite sad about it is obviously a year ago, Shad Gaspard died drowning. Absolute hero, saving his son from drowning and sort of sacrificing, save my son rather than save me, and unfortunately he passed away. Al Snow, I believe the story goes that he was at a beach and there was like a screaming parent about save my child, save my child. He could see that there was a lifeguard. Al Snow made the judgment call that he could get to the child first, and so went out there. And I think even within the story, he's like, I almost got pulled under, and it was an absolute slog to keep us both afloat. But he managed to save this kid. So yeah, Al Snow, absolute legend for that. You know. But in terms of his wrestling ability, I think Al Snow's a great wrestler.
I can't be-
No, go on, TJ.
The head.
TJ, what were you about to say?
I can't believe none of us.
Indeed, TJ, indeed.
I can't believe none of us considered God. I feared in the main event once.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Right. One thing, though, from the audience, David Sarton, who was on the show a few weeks ago, he's given a couple of thoughts. I will read them. He said, Glacier. His gimmick was ridiculous. The build-up was awful, and he didn't get over with fans as he could have, but his style was hard to replicate and fascinating. And then he says, or actually, no, I take it back. And here's one where I feel like this is a genuine nominee, Lance Storm. He had the talent, he had the intimidation factor, he works well with just about anybody, never given a main event push anywhere.
And he was serious for more than a moment.
Yeah. Do you know, I saw a tweet by Lance Storm the other day that, and I had like so many people. He said like have forgotten that he once had a dancing gimmick. Does anyone else remember that? He had a dancing gimmick where he was like literally yeah. It's so weird. I'd completely forgotten that. I think that was just before he was like, to hell with this and retired.
I think that was when Stone Cold came on and it was like, boring. I think it came from that, wasn't it? Because he actually brought a pillow and slept on the ramp.
Yeah.
So that he's
WWE actually, like, they completely wasted Lance Storm. Like, you can say what you like about different places, but like WCW, they got Lance Storm. They gave him every title but the world title at once. Yeah. And it was like, oh my god, this guy is going to go places. WCW closed down, and then he's boring and dancing Lance Storm. Okay, anyone, what was our other nominees that we had? Someone throw something in the air.
The Miz.
Oh, The Miz. Who wants
Owen Hart, Cesaro.
Okay, let's talk on The Miz, then Owen Hart, then Cesaro in that order. So The Miz, who wants to... Does anyone want to defend that The Miz is more than a mid-carder? Gav.
I really like the guy. I think he's got like natural charisma. He's a talent, to be honest. Not a talent so much in the ring.
In wrestling, but...
But I think that he is a good... again, it's a character. He's a character.
Okay. Anyone else want to come in on The Miz? Like, Gav, it looks like he's going to die on the Miz Hill here, but, you know, someone has to defend The Miz.
I would say, like, he's a great talent. Like, his character is really good. I mean, I think he did have a face run where everyone did like Miz as a face as well. So I think, like, he can go both ways, but he usually plays the heel. But I do agree that, like, seeing him as main event, his narcissistic character would get annoying, would get old a little bit. But as a mid-card, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
I was going to say, also, his WrestleMania 27 entrance, brilliant.
What remind us of it? What did he do?
The awesome blow-up thing, and then You Can Hate Me Now.
They never did that ever again. I hate
it was brilliant. Like, all of us in the crowd, we was cheering so bad. We booed John Cena, sorry, but we actually booed the choir as well.
The sacrilege.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Anyone else with any thoughts on The Miz?
Nice wife.
What about his wife?
It's a nice wife.
Nice wife, absolutely. Well, I think, okay, so look, let's come to Owen Hart. I feel personally that Owen Hart is a main event talent, and one of the things which is interesting is that there's such a... Owen Hart, unfortunately, is much more famous for the fact that he died and everything that surrounded it, and that has overshadowed, you know, his legacy as an in-ring talent to some degree, because I think that's what most people, they think of Owen Hart and they think of the tragedy rather than so many other things first. But Owen Hart, like, had a main event. Who have we lost? TJ. Oh, he'll be back. Right. Owen Hart had, like, main event SummerSlam match with Bret Hart. Owen Hart, like, he was the one that had the pin at the Calgary Stampede main event. His feud with Austin, even though it was for the mid-card, you know, in the mid-card and for the Intercontinental Championship, you know, he works with Austin there. I find it a little bit difficult to consider Owen Hart completely mid-card myself.
Yeah.
But, TJ, do you want to... We were just saying about Owen Hart. Do you want to say why you consider...
Yeah, my internet gave up. There was a problem with my internet.
That's cool.
I think Owen Hart, I think he should have gotten a lot more. But if I have to choose between Owen Hart and Cesaro, I'll say Cesaro, because the one person who absolute charisma, in-ring skills, as a character, like, give the man anything. He's amazing.
But it's like what we always wondering,
it's a pity. Sorry?
what's they trying to do with Cesaro at all? I mean, like he has the fans, clearly he has the talent, and clearly everyone wants him to be a main event player.
Apart from Vince.
Apart from Vince. Apart from Vince.
That's surprising. He's quite a big guy. So.
Which
But
is what I don't understand.
he's like the guy he would go for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the problem there?
I think what's the only issue Vince has with Cesaro is that he got himself over, similar to Zack Ryder or Matt Cardona. He got himself over.
Oh, is he a
Yes,
nominee?
didn't go according to Vince's plan.
Is Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, a
It's
nominee?
Zack Ryder.
Yeah, the ultimate mid-carder.
Yeah.
I mean, we might have actually just picked up one that's really obvious.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. Who else did we have? Anyone else we had? Well, you mentioned Cesaro. I don't know. Like, I just don't consider. Like, I feel like to be the ultimate mid-carder, I feel like it has to really fit. Whereas I see that Cesaro, it's not that. Like, I think he's very good, but he doesn't spring to my mind. Go on, Gav.
Okay, I'm going to go back to someone from back in the day. No one even talks about this guy ever.
Hercules Hernandez.
Oh.
Wow.
Zeus' son?
Wasn't he a mid-card? He's a mid-carder.
Yeah, 100% mid-carder.
Yeah, and like he should have got to a level, I believe.
Yeah.
But isn't he kind of like Cesaro kind of thing? That's a.
Do you know what? There's things like just being the absolute powerhouse who, if you look at what Vince likes, completely like why wasn't he pushed more?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's not a bad consideration as well. Oh, actually, there was one that was said. Who was it? Jack Swagger, Jake Hager.
Yeah.
He's got to be a strong contender for this.
Must be the biggest.
We the
I think.
people.
One of the biggest.
You know he did like MMA and he won.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
he did like 2 or 3.
He's undefeated.
Undefeated.
Yeah.
I was so surprised.
Well, no, because he's got like a strong amateur wrestling background.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still like his striking was not so bad as well. So I was like, what? Like seeing him like threw me off.
One of my favourite things about Jake Hager is that in AEW, like when he was on he was the surprise that turned up on the debut episode, wasn't he? Right at the end of the show, and then like the audience was like, oh my god, he's going to be their Brock Lesnar. Now they dropped the ball there because if they'd booked him right, they could have pushed for that, but instead, like on the next promo, the audience were chanting like "We the people," and like Jericho, if you remember, he was like, "That's bad creative and it's old and it's gone, it's dead."
Right, yeah.
The thing was, if you look at Swagger's face, and you know you see his face, and he was probably thinking in his head, "I don't want that to be dead. That's my catchphrase." Because literally, when he comes out for his MMA fights, it starts off "We the people." So clearly, he was all in on the marketing, and Jericho's like, "That's bad creative. It's dead."
Yeah.
Okay, TJ is going to rejoin us again. But look, okay, let's start to put a pin on this. Ken, like from what we've said, what are we feeling in the ultimate mid-carder?
I would go for the Miz.
The Miz. Oh, okay. Well, do you know what? You might not be. No, okay. So whoever said the Miz is quite possibly right. Any other ones that we're leaning heavily towards?
I think I'm going to go. Oh.
Darius, what was that?
I was going to say Ziggler, because you said Ziggler, didn't you? I think Ziggler
Yeah,
is...
I think
Got
Ziggler's a
the Ricardo.
possibility. Gav, what were you going to say?
Jeff Hardy.
Oh wow, that's one we haven't spoken about.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I feel he's similar to Mysterio in that he's done enough to be a main event
Yeah,
talent.
I think so. And he won championships as well.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
he's been like
Yeah, he was in main events, right?
yeah, he's been
He
world
wasn't-
champion one or two times. He's been in TNA world champion a few times.
That begs the question. Matt Hardy.
Matt Hardy. Do you know the thing with Matt Hardy is he was always in the shadow of Jeff until the broken thing, but I feel like he finally broke free of Jeff's shadow by doing the broken stuff. Even then he was like Impact world champion, and you know, and Jeff was kind of like second fiddle to him for quite some time. But you know, Jeff. Okay, so there are some, and like Dolph Ziggler. Feel like there are some people who, for whatever reason, in the WWE, you get Jeff Hardy, Dolph Ziggler, Rob Van Dam. Like even like nowadays, it'll be like or a Rey Mysterio or Ricochet, and you can see like in their style and stuff. It's like we're gonna put these guys in the opening match, no matter what happens.
We haven't even talked about the females. Natty,
yeah.
Tamina.
Well, do you know, it's difficult. Do you know what the thing I think which is difficult talking about the mid card, like females, is for so long. Obviously, there's only been like the women's world championship equivalent. There's not a specific mid card title, and because the women get so few main events, that for a lot of history, in my opinion, it's felt like the women's match, even if unless it was in the modern era, like with Charlotte, they see Charlotte as a main event. They've resisted it, but Becky is a main event, even though they tried to go against it. Sorry?
The four horsewomen, really.
Yeah, exactly. Sasha, you know, but if you go back in time, you'd have to go back to Trish and Lita, and then there's like this 10-year gap before they consider any of the women like a main event player. But yeah.
Going back to like Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, I think they're at the stage in their careers that they're giving back now. So they're really more building new stars and whatnot. So
yeah, look at how Jeff Hardy really built up Karrion Kross recently.
And even
He's done a great job with Private Party and
He's also
as
elevating the 24/7 title.
Yeah.
Who was that?
He's also elevating the 24/7 title by chasing it.
Who is?
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy's chasing the 24/7 title.
He was.
Oh my god. Wow. Okay. So.
Also John Morrison. John Morrison's also.
Yeah,
falls into that
that's
same
I completely agree, Cap. Yeah, that's a strong one as well. I don't know. Okay, so let's quickly go round. We'll say off. We've heard what everything each other have to say, and let's see if we can find one or two between what everyone's saying. I feel out of the ones that have said, I think for me, I'm still going to lean towards Dolph Ziggler, but I would go with The Miz as well. Any other thoughts? Cap, who are you saying? You've got to pick now.
Both.
Cap, who are you choosing?
I'm gonna go with Cesaro.
I could go for both.
Okay, TJ's...
I'm gonna go with Cesaro because both Ziggler and Miz have won world championships. Cesaro hasn't.
Yeah, but as you said earlier, TJ, CM Punk, he's a mid-carder despite his 400.
I never said that.
Yeah, I know, man, I know. Okay, Gav, who are you saying?
Tito Santana. How do you remember?
Again, another great one. Another great choice. Darius?
I'm going to have to go with Ziggler because he's used quite a lot to put other people over. And he's very good at, kind of showing the talent off other people's skills and making people look good.
Yeah.
That's what I use it for primarily.
But the one thing I hate about Ziggler is the tag team matches. The way that he tries to, that's like, get over it, man, just do it.
Sami Zayn.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
But I think I'm gonna make a verdict. I think because most wrestling companies and especially WWE, they have misused so many of the talents. We will always come up with a name that we will think should have been the greatest mid-carder. Like, I'm sure there are so many misused talents out there. I'm pretty sure we can do this all night long. We'll come up with
Do you know what? Like we could just pick on that for a minute. So like we've narrowed down some strong possibilities for the ultimate mid-carder, but I think TJ's got a very good idea here. What was that, Gav?
X-Pac.
Yeah. I feel like there is something about him where, even if it's just his legend status now, is he? Yeah, he's
Go
never.
away, Heat.
Go away, X-Pac Heat. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I always liked. I don't know why that became a thing.
DDP.
No, DDP's a main eventer. WWE wasted him. Unless
In
you talk-
WWE, in WWF.
Yeah, completely wasted. Okay, but TJ, what was it you were just talking about? Like people that have been misused or something?
Misused.
Yeah,
Okay.
so many people.
Yeah.
So let's. I'm going to bounce off this to come up with like a quick topic. Let's not take too long over it though. But I do like this idea, so let's jump on it. Okay, in WWE and in AEW right now, who is the most misused talent currently? Okay, most misused talent currently in either promotion. Or in each promotion, I mean. Or if you want to break down on Raw, on SmackDown, or whatever. The most misused person in the WWE currently. Who could? I mean, we could just come back to Cesaro
Kevin
if you think
Owens.
he should be.
Kevin
Owens.
And Cesaro.
Kevin Owens, yeah.
And Cesaro.
I got right.
I would
Has
go
anyone-
lean towards Cesaro more. Because
Has anyone
Kevin Owens-
noticed that Kevin Owens, the energy that's around him is exactly same as John Moxley in his last few months in the WWE?
Well, there's
He
all this
doesn't
stuff
want
saying that Kevin Owens is leaving soon. And
Yeah.
if that's true, then, you know, it must be a bit of a
Sorry.
miserable time. Go on, Gav.
For me, he needs to get rid of that stunner.
Yeah.
Yes,
yes.
I agree.
I
I
did
agree.
like it as well, yeah.
He didn't earn that. He didn't earn
No.
that. Like, he took that. I don't think he should have
I
taken
know
that.
Austin signed it off for him to do it, but
Yeah.
no.
Did he? Did he? Well, but
Yeah.
like the thing is, I don't even think it doesn't look that good when he does it.
No.
And also, he was fine with his own finishing move.
Yeah.
I mean, that was perfectly fine.
Yeah, pop up powerbomb.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go around. Darius, do you have any thoughts on WWE, AEW? Doesn't matter. Most misused talent.
John Silver in AEW. I think he deserves. Yeah.
Wow, do you know what?
probably.
He must be so
Characters.
misused that I can barely even distinguish which one of the Dark Order he is.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. He's brilliant though. Like he's his character's so funny. I think if you put him a little bit in the limelight, maybe give him the TNT Championship, I think he'd have a good run. And then people would probably see a bit more of him. I think he's really good.
Oh, okay, I know who you mean now. I thought this was who you mean.
Yeah.
Wow. Is he that good?
He's really funny when he can wrestle.
Yeah, I think I've like seen him on like the YouTube shows or like Being the Elite or whatever, something like this.
AEW Dark.
Something like that. It's all the same. Right, but yeah, so that's who we're talking about there. I think. That's him, right?
Johnson.
There's so
Yeah.
many Dark Order people. But okay, anyone else? Who's the most misused, Gav?
Bray Wyatt.
He's not there anymore.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's how he's being misused. They got rid of him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, if I could speak of the past, I would say Mark Henry. Like,
For years,
They
he
never-
would have had that record.
yeah, like that person.
Or
like,
you don't mean in
he did
AEW now, right? Because literally he's 99% a comment like an announcer.
Wow, I had no idea that he was in AEW.
Oh yeah, he's in AEW. He's kind of like the. It's weird. I don't know what's happened recently because he was going to be like one of the announcers on like their second show, Rampage. But now it seems like they've dialed back on that, and he's more like the host.
Yeah.
Huh.
He does more of the interviews rather than the announcing. He wasn't too good on the commentary, I don't think.
They
But I
did-
think that's AEW's
Yeah,
fault
but
because
he
they have
needs
four
time.
people on there.
Yeah, well, like I'd say he needs time because he's on like busted open radio, you know,
Exactly.
and I think he'll be fine there. But if you're talking historically, Cap, I would agree. Until he basically, they made him like a monster in ECW, which was like the easiest gimmick to give Mark Henry. I think for years they put it that he should have like squashed everyone for
Yeah,
years.
that's the thing. Like, he could have been a really good heel, but you should have given him some wins.
Well, he didn't
But
even
there
need
was
to
no-
be like he had a brilliant story coming in as like the world's strongest man, the Olympian or whatever. He could have absolutely been like waving the US flag and everything as a face in the mid-90s.
I don't think that would have worked.
Really?
Kurt Angle.
But Mark Henry got there a couple of years earlier. Could have it
I mean,
worked then?
like,
Wow, I didn't know that.
I was going to say, people are not going to like that gimmick. It's good. Like, I'm kind of interested to see what they're going to do with Gable Stevenson. Stevenson or whatever his name is.
They're gonna rename him, and
He can't be sitting there waving the flag and.
Okay, so you know, this could get into like the whole like politics of the world kind of thing, but are we beyond a patriotic gimmick working in wrestling?
I think so.
Because it's interesting. I think that's what Cody Rhodes tried to do recently, like a few months ago, and it completely bombed. Where it was like, oh, for one night I'm going to be the American dream, and it didn't work.
No. Yeah, Cody's not really over at the moment, though. I mean, it's just fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, I think Malachi Black's doing a fantastic job as well. To be fair, you know, that feud with the Nightmare Family and Cody. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what? Like Cody, there, he clearly was like, oh yeah, this, you know, Malachi Black's, he is like going to be money. He wanted to work with him, but people were just so pleased to see Aleister Black in AEW that Cody, they didn't take Cody's side there.
I think they're starting to see through the whole Cody thing.
Yeah, well, we said about this
Cody's-
last week.
Yeah, Brandy needs to move to the left.
Where we learned that you can't stand Brandy Rhodes. I know that people. I like Brandy Rhodes. I've never had an issue.
Good to look at, but that's about it for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, very quickly. Did we have any other? Go on, TJ. But then we can just so we pin this down on who's the most misused.
okay, so in WWE, I'd say Akira Tozawa, Angelo Dawkins, Apollo Crews, Austin Theory, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Dolph Ziggler. I'm just reading their roster.
Yeah, well, how about Ricochet? How about Ricochet? Ricochet should have been like the future of wrestling, and now he seems like he's fallen into that Jeff Hardy, Rob Van Dam position. Sorry, Cap?
Yeah, exactly.
Cap?
Yeah, Apollo Crews was also like the same. When he popped up in SmackDown or Raw, I was like, yeah, I was really pumped for that guy to really be used, but like they didn't.
I mean, you can just read their roster up and you'll get
all of them.
With Ricochet, I think he needs a character. I think that's what he's lacking in.
Was he in the hair business, Ricochet?
No.
Wasn't he in the hair business? No, I thought he was. That's how much I watched WWE.
I just think he needs a character, kind of. He's too. The word I'm looking for. I don't know, like geeky, which isn't bad, but he's too.
I think if Ricochet went to AEW and just did Ricochet, he'd be a huge star there.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, WWE, you need the character, and perhaps. But the thing is, I don't think he's got. I don't know if he's got it in him to have that character.
Okay, so. No. Wait. I'm gonna make an argument. Ricochet was Prince Puma in Lucha Underground, and that show was based on character. Ricochet can come up with a good character if they allow him to.
Okay. Okay, so here's perhaps who is the most misused person in AEW? Who is the most misused person in AEW? Excalibur. Well, do you know what? The funny answer would be just like if you were to be like, yeah, Kenny Omega, just don't use or something like that. But no, I love Omega, but it'd be funny if like the most misused person you were like, yeah, Roman Reigns, just don't do it. But no, again, Roman's great, especially nowadays. Okay, so
Michael Nakazawa.
Who's that?
Michael Nakazawa.
Really?
Michael Nakazawa, definitely.
Yeah.
Why? Is he some prodigy, or do you just don't want him on TV? Is that what we're
No, I like him. I think he's funny. But he's just being used as a lackey, isn't he, for the Elite at the moment?
Yeah.
I like his gimmick, the whole pro leg of locks and.
I think TJ just said who's a strong nominee, Lance Archer.
Yeah, it's a great one. To be fair.
I think there's just like a. Sorry, go ahead, Cap.
I would say like Santino Morello. Like, even though wrestling is trying to be comedic,
yeah, AEW aren't using him very well.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure that he's named it, but I was trying to say like he's the only one who made WWE on Good Humor work. I mean, they could have used him more to actually sell that comedy, and he should have been enough. Yeah, all that, like he was the only comedic wrestler who did comedy right. So I'm not sure why they didn't use him more much. I mean, they could have
Do you know
played
what?
off every...
There's a few times, just to quickly go on to that, like Santino. If you remember when he like almost won the Royal Rumble and then he ended up in the Elimination
Oh
Chamber.
gosh.
That was the moment. There's a few times where there's been like Spike Dudley had a main event once, and people were like, oh my god, Spike Dudley's going to win the world title. Tajiri, and there's a few people where it's been like even Hardcore Holly suddenly, even though it was slightly different because I don't think the audience cared, but there's been times like Santino, even Eugene, where the audience really rally around some complete underdog and unlikely person. But yeah, Santino, his moment, they could have gone for it.
The thing is, like, you've got I can see why they didn't, because like there's only so much you can give with the Gaga moments, like the funny moments, you know.
No, but I'm okay that they like kept him in the mid card, but like I'm saying, like you could have milked more comedy out of him. Like he was used very low. That's my problem.
I think they did enough.
I don't like. He could have legitimately made me laugh. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like the awkward laugh, that he would have been the real laugh.
Yeah.
More.
Okay, so do we have I think Lance Archer is a good nominee for AEW. Is there someone else who AEW have dropped the ball on completely? Gav.
I don't know, maybe because he's not there at the moment. Adam Page, Hangman.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
No. You'll get his time.
He's taking the belt from Omega. I don't think so.
You think he's going to take the belt, not Bryan Danielson?
I'm 90% sure he's the one taking the belt from Omega.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's.
They've been building this story. Like the only 10% is the whole anything can happen thing, but they've been building this story since the first AEW interview, like the first conference they had. He's totally taking the belt, and the crowd is gonna pop like crazy.
Okay, Gav.
Scorpion Sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they've got this story which I'm not massively digging at the moment with him and Ethan Page, and then whoever their manager is, basically doing Jim Cornette light. Yeah.
I'm not enjoying that.
But so, do you know what? Similar to what I said, even though Scorpio Sky is much more of a potential main eventer than someone like I just said about Spike Dudley or Santino or whatever. So early in AEW's history, when it was suddenly Scorpio Sky going against Jericho, if they had literally just gone with it, they would have made him a main eventer. But that's a case of where they dropped the ball, and I do suspect actually that a similar story will eventually be told about Adam Page. I think eventually it'll be like, well, he was an almost but didn't quite get there.
I disagree. I think he will, because you have to understand that Page he's quite young, so he's got quite a lot of years to go, to be fair, in his wrestling career. So I think, he might take. I'm not sure about him taking the belt off of me this time. I don't know whether he will.
Yeah, certainly, like in the future. But I think Bryan Danielson is taking the belt. Because otherwise, they're going to drop the ball. Otherwise, in 3 months' time, we're going to say, what are they doing with... They got Daniel Bryan and they did nothing with him. Every match he has is great, but why wouldn't you build the company around him whilst he's fresh?
Why you go with Daniel, right? What's the story then after that?
What
evolves from there?
What, if they make Bryan Danielson world champion?
Yeah.
That they have the best wrestler in the world as the champion who can have all of these dream matches that we never saw him against. And then it's a little bit simple because it's like John Moxley. They made him world champion, and then now he's kind of out the picture. He is floating a little bit, but I think that if they don't capitalise on Bryan soon, then they'll waste him. Go on, TJ.
I'm gonna say two things. Actually, three. So first of all, it was really unfortunate what happened to Moxley because of the pandemic. He just never got. But it's not that he isn't doing anything. He's their representative for New Japan. He's that. But with Bryan Danielson, I completely agree. The storyline being that the best wrestler in the world is their champion. But why will they have Bryan Danielson as that guy when they can have Kenny Omega, who is an original AEW guy? as the best wrestler. If they have Kenny Omega beat Bryan Danielson, he gets bragging rights. And then when Adam Page or anyone else, an AEW talent beats Kenny Omega, that person can say, I beat the best wrestler on the planet.
Exactly.
Bryan Danielson, I think the idea is like right now, guys like CM Punk, Bryan Danielson, they're going to bring more eyes, and eventually they're going to put over AEW guys. They spoke about the 4 pillars of AEW.
Yeah.
The 4 pillars of AEW.
Yes.
Is it me?
He's gone.
Who does that mean? TJ, you can't go now. We don't know who that referred to.
4 pillars.
The 4 pillars. It's like...
Who was it? It was MJF.
MJF.
Yeah.
Jungle Boy.
Jungle
Sammy
Oh,
Boy.
Guevara.
Darby.
That's it.
And Darby Allin.
Oh, okay.
But
So
Britt
guys,
Baker should be in that as well.
Who should?
Britt Baker.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
so just like,
Okay, so this is all fascinating stuff. Let's we'll do like this show hasn't got much more time where it can run, and we haven't done any other rounds. So technically, let's just have a look. TJ is winning with 2 points, but let's quickly go on to some headlines because we'll dig into some of the headlines as well. Then 20 questions, and we'll call it a day. So I'm going to tell you a headline, and I'm going to blank out part of the headline, and you have to guess what it is. Correct or amusing answers will get a point. So, Jeff Hardy comments on bringing blank to WWE. Okay, TJ's obviously read this headline, but go for it.
Willow.
Yes, he speaks on the possibility of bringing his Willow character to WWE.
the one with the umbrella from TNA?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like the white face paint.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay, let's see. Right, Sami Zayn has a fiery reaction to blank. Sami
Not being
Zayn.
impressed.
Buzz.
Okay. Oh, hang on. Who came in? Darius, what was yours?
As I said, not being pushed.
Not being pushed. Quite You're not far off. Gav,
A hot curry.
there's a fiery bonus point there, Gav. Bonus point. TJ, of course.
I was going to say to Kevin Owens cooking chili food for him.
Similar idea. Right. Cap.
Eva Marie's new wardrobe failure.
What? What have you been looking up, Cap? Right. Unbelievable. Share the link later. Right, no, I'm joking. So, what it is Sami Zayn has fiery reaction to being the last WWE draft pick.
Oh.
Yeah, so how about that? But apparently Oscar
You
wasn't
got
picked
picked.
at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like she had a good, really entertaining match, right? So why not?
Oh, okay. Here's an interesting one. We can dig into this in a second. Johnny Gargano removes...
Buzz.
Oh, shit, I haven't even said it yet. Removes blank from social media accounts. TJ, who has read
Mentions
the new...
of WWE and NXT.
Yeah, what does that mean? I literally don't know the story. TJ, do you know any more about it?
So apparently his contract is up in December, and today he removed all mentions from WWE and NXT. He has to still have the link to his roster page because contractual obligations, but every other mention he has removed them from his social media.
So is everyone just going to AEW?
Or Impact.
Okay, so who's going to Impact? No one watches Impact. It's a huge mistake.
That's the thing that I was trying to bring up. Like, do you think like AEW is kind of headed for what WWE is headed for? Like, they have so much talent. Pretty much, some of them is going to become like the matter doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Like WWE did.
This is the problem.
I feel what this should result in. I mean, of course, AEW cannot accommodate everyone, but if these other promotions that are partners with AEW, like Impact and maybe AAA, so if somehow these people can be elevated by these talents, if they can get better TV deals, so that the wrestlers are paid and everyone would have something to watch. We see a lot of complaints. There are some people who think flippy stuff isn't wrestling, but there are some people who do like flippy stuff. They can watch AAA or Lucha. There are people who like the goofy side of wrestling. They can watch Impact. There are people that like whatever AEW is doing. There are people that like sports entertainment. They can watch WWE. So move away from this monopoly, I think it's gonna improve the wrestling business as a whole.
Yeah, but like, okay, so, but
Watch
like,
whichever type of wrestling.
at what stage does history repeat? And we spoke about this 2 or 3 weeks ago. WCW in the 90s suddenly were like, oh, we've got Hogan, we've got Savage, we've got Mean Gene, we've got the Nasty Boys, we've got Jim Duggan, we've got Virgil, we've got like everyone that had ever been on WWE TV, Earthquake, and so on and so forth. And it was like, it's all just the old WWE guys. The thing which we commented a couple of weeks ago is in AEW, it's not saying that we've got, and not to say there's anything wrong with Jim Duggan, but there's a difference between Jim Duggan and Daniel Bryan. There's a difference between like CM Punk and, you know, so their in-ring ability, exciting matches and all that. But at what stage do they just become, they're all just the old WWE guys?
I don't think WCW like went out of business because of them signing WWF guys. I think their booking was pretty bad, and
it was, I think though, it was partly that when, like, the big criticism at the time was that the people who were big in WCW were Hogan, Savage, Hall, Nash, and it was like, you know, and then it was like, well, what about the Eddie Guerreros and Rey Mysterios and, you know, the Benoits and the Saturns and the Shane Douglas and all of this lot?
Yeah, I think the problem with WCW was, so with AEW right now, it's a 3-step thing, honestly. So right now, guys like Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, they're gonna bring eyes to AEW. Adam Cole, and then eventually they need to win a few matches. They need to be at the top. Otherwise, Bryan Danielson putting over a Jungle Boy will not amount to anything.
But even like, you know, Kenny Omega, he's got to lose it to Adam Page, and a few weeks ago he lost a world championship on free TV to Christian, who had been retired for 7 years.
Wasn't a clean loss. Was the Impact title was the first episode of Rampage?
Yeah, but you say it wasn't a clean loss. Omega's the heel. You know?
Oh, okay. It wasn't like it didn't decisive, like there. It was kind of the Eddie Guerrero kind of cheating where the referee didn't see what was happening, and Christian hit the kill switch on the chair. But again, it didn't exactly hurt Omega. Like, one issue that I do have with this is that they didn't go anywhere with the belt collector gimmick. Seems like he's losing all the belts, and I knew eventually it would have been with him only holding on to the AEW title. But I would have really wanted some New Japan inclusion. They did tease Jay White versus Omega, so and they might still do it. So
yeah. I think with wrestling as well, with AEW, you say about the size of the roster and how big it is, but I think they're going to get to a more sort of football-based system where they send certain wrestlers to, I don't know, maybe New Japan, Impact, MLW, and go, right, you go there, and you make a character or a name for yourself, and and then once you've been elevated, because if you think about where the young Bucks, Kenny Omega, all made the name in Japan, and then came to America, and then created this, helped create this company. And I think that's what will end up happening. They'll have a big roster, yes, don't get me wrong, but I think they will end up sending, wrestlers to different companies to, hone in the craft a little bit better, or learn how to do a bit more character work in a different way. I think that's what will end up happening. I think benefits of, the Forbidden Door being open and wrestling companies working together sort of elevates everybody at the same time then, which, I know
I think that probably is absolutely what's happening. I think you're completely right. I mean, and I think one of the best examples of that is the fact that Gallows and Anderson are on AEW every week, but they're Impact wrestlers.
Do you know, I actually feel sorry for them sometimes.
I feel sorry for them often. Like, they're so... It's so criminal how they were wasted by WWE. And then the fact that they missed their chance to go to AEW, and now they're kind of just the background guys.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, even in Adam Cole's promo, he didn't even mention them.
I know. And was
that was just...
And they just stood there. And it's is it because they're the Impact guys?
I mean, if they're still doing the whole Bullet Club Civil War, this could lead in, because I remember when Adam Cole did not mention them. I think it was Carl Anderson who was like, he had these expressions. He's like, "What about us?"
Yeah.
So this might lead to a Bullet Club civil war where we might have. So what does Kenny Omega do after he drops the title? He's gonna drop it to someone. I'm hoping it's Adam Page. What does he do after that?
Who, Omega?
Yeah, Kenny Omega.
Well, do you know what? On this Forbidden Door idea, maybe they're like, well, okay, let's take you back to New Japan and main event Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then bring a couple over here. You know, you could have a 3-match special between, I don't know, him and Okada again, or him and
Okada versus Bryan Danielson. Just the idea. I'm getting goosebumps just speaking about it. Okada versus Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so imagine I'm gonna just propose like a theory, and it goes back to talk of WCW. WCW made this big thing of the NWO, and it was such a big storyline that if they couldn't how could WCW beat the NWO? It just like it went out with a whimper. What if? Because literally one of the headlines, because that round kind of disappeared a little bit, but one of the headlines, and we've spoke about this quite a bit last week, so we don't need to go back to it. But it says here, Tony Khan comments on AEW EVPs reportedly losing creative power. What if that isn't true? What if they're just putting this into the storylines where you've got the Elite, like, dominating, and eventually the Elite could be exiled from AEW. They could go and rejoin the Bullet Club or whatever, dominate, bring suddenly, like, 4 months later, they suddenly invade AEW again and stuff like this. That would be a great way of, like we were just saying, and Darius, you were saying, about sending people away and then coming back bigger.
Could be.
Yeah.
Wow. We're booking this shit here tonight, guys.
Tony, if you're listening,
Yeah, Tony, call us.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking, like, why did WWE
jobs as
do
creative
that?
people?
Sorry, what?
I'm also thinking, why didn't WWE do that?
What, Forbidden
It's
Door?
just like
Dumb.
wrestling companies outside of WWE, just he hates their idea. I mean, he went around in the 80s and shut all the territories down.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like...
Yeah, like, that's the thing, like, he created a black hole for himself now. So, I mean, still, he can do it. Like, it's still a possibility that he can still pull it off. And why is it still happening? Like, it's...
Did anyone hear that thing like a month
I
or
think
two
there's
ago?
like I think there's less. I don't know, Cap, if you're aware of this or not, but so
Probably
WWE
not.
did their best to have a WWE and New Japan relationship because Bryan Danielson wanted to work there. They did their best, and so Nick Khan, he gets a lot of hate, but he's the one who got them the Fox deal. Even he couldn't get the New Japan deal. New Japan decided to sign with a new company that, again, a lot of people like to call AEW WCW 2.0. They decided to sign with AEW over WWE. So I think because over the years, WWE has gathered so much bad faith, and I think even with the fans, people know. So let's look at what happened with the Roman Reigns Finn Balor match. There was no explanation. It was stupid, and there could have been a lot of explanations. But that's what they do. They don't. They insult the intelligence of their fans. AEW, they made their fair share of botches. I'm not trying to be an AEW mark, but AEW, when they botched the exploding barbed wire match, they gave us an explanation. Was it the best? People can argue, but at least they're not insulting the intelligence of the audience. When you think of booking, so Christian is probably going to drop the title to an Impact guy. Kenny Omega was on Impact, and more people are talking about Impact than they did in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Companies are wanting to sign with, make this deal with AEW.
The interesting thing is, we won't know, but I think probably WWE wanted the exclusive New Japan deal.
Yeah,
and when you look
they did.
Yeah, so, but like New Japan, they have had people on Impact recently. They've had like a long history of doing stuff with like Ring of Honor and that. They probably were like,
W as well.
Yeah, they were probably like they're almost certainly. I imagine WWE were asking for too much. Yeah, WWE would have just wanted just that. But there was talk at the same time that would WWE going to do a Forbidden Door with Major League Wrestling, and and stuff like this. And I don't think WWE ever want to give a piece of anything to anyone.
Exactly.
WWE is all in their little bubble.
Yeah, 100%.
And
I mean,
Don't come out.
you guys are from the UK. Take what they did to the UK scene. So
Yeah.
they NXT
yeah.
UK destroyed the UK independent scene. So
Yeah.
it again comes to them. And even if they did make a deal with New Japan, they'd probably have Okada jobbing to, I don't know, Baron Corbin or something.
Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
Well,
or
they wouldn't even have Okada as a main event talent.
No.
They
gonna
wouldn't.
job to Baron Corbin.
Well,
And
yeah.
they're
I
gonna
mean,
say,
like literally.
Corbin.
Do you remember? Well, obviously the Royal Rumble won by Shinsuke, and then it was, I think, the first year of the Women's Royal Rumble.
yeah, Asuka.
And then literally at WrestleMania they both lose.
That
And
was terrible. That was
and then
terrible.
and you get Shinsuke, and he turns heel, which could be fine, but his whole gimmick was just about low blows, and it's like, this guy is so much more than this.
Yeah.
But like with Shinsuke, I always like wondered, is it the theme music? Is what's got us all riled up?
Don't go there. Don't go there.
No, I always like, I know he's like good talent and everything,
He's
but
good.
I feel like
One of the best wrestlers on the planet.
Go back
Well,
to his
like-
New Japan stuff.
When he shows up, I'm more interested in like in his entrance.
Cap.
It's like-
Cap.
Well, he does have a great entrance,
He has a
but
great entrance.
also
Cap. I am saying this with, like, I'm being as respectful as I can. You have a picture of John Cena behind you. You don't get to comment about Shinsuke Nakamura's wrestling abilities.
Okay. Look, we'll probably dig into stuff, but just so we have some sort of round.
But you can't see it.
First of all, I must just give you the update from the Iron Sheik.
Oh, of course.
So, the most recent news from the Iron Sheik is this. Every day is a miracle, you dumb son of a bitch. And I think there's stuff that we can learn from that, one and
Of
all.
course.
But with this, let's play 20 questions. I'm going to pick a wrestler, and you guys will have 20 questions to work out who I have got. And I have someone. Darius, you can ask me the first question.
Oh, okay. Have you recently been a part of the WWE draft?
No. Okay, I'm going to give you something as well. Like, literally to decide who this wrestler was, I just refreshed Twitter, and the first wrestler that came up, I'm not saying it was a post, but the first wrestler I saw is who I've picked, if that gives you any hint. Right, so, Cap, what's your question?
Does this character, sorry, not character, is this wrestler identifies as male?
Yes. Gav?
This wrestler in AEW.
No. TJ?
Is this a current wrestler? Like, currently active?
I'm going to lean towards... I'm going to say no.
As a wrestler.
Sorry?
As a wrestler, is he currently
Okay,
active as a wrestler?
I'm going to say no, because otherwise it would mislead you. But like, I'd say 99%, like, no. But
Okay.
there would be something we could speak about afterwards, but no. Darius?
Oh. Is he a manager?
No.
Oh,
Okay, Cap?
I thought I had it then. I thought I had it.
Not technically a wrestler, but
I didn't say not technically a
somehow-
wrestler. I didn't say that.
He's not
Yeah, I
active
mean, like,
right
not
now.
current wrestler. But he is involved, and he's in the draft. He did not get in the draft pick, but he's involved.
I didn't say that either. Wait, he wasn't anything to do with the draft.
I feel like Darius asked a question about the draft, right?
Yeah. He
Yeah,
said, was
he
he in
said
the
no.
draft? I said no.
Okay, so he was not in the draft. Is this wrestler been active since active in the ring for the last 10 years?
Yeah, 100% they've been active in the ring within the last 10 years.
That was too big, right? Too big of a gap.
Probably.
Maybe should have gone with 5.
Gav.
Can we see him?
Wait, is that your question?
Yeah.
Can we see him?
Yeah.
Well, yes. But not right now if you mean on the screen.
I think that's kind of backfired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Question backfired.
They are not an invisible being. Okay, TJ.
Is this wrestler has this wrestler managed a champion in the last 2 years?
No?
Oh, crap, I was going with MVP.
I was thinking that.
Okay, I see where you're going, but no. Where is Sarajit when you need him just to randomly guess, like last week, out of nowhere, based on absolutely no clues? He was like, is it Arn Anderson? And I was like, yes. He's like, have they been US champion? I was like, no. And it's like, have they been world champion? No. Well, it must be Arn Anderson. Right. I was like, how the hell did you read my mind? Right. Okay. Watch last week's episode if you want to see that moment, guys. Right. Darius.
Oh, I don't know. Are they currently on TV?
No. And if anyone says something that disputes that, then I think it would be something fairly obscure, but no.
Has this wrestler been a world champion?
Oh, that's what's.
Cap, it's your question. Did you want to ask something there?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, so say it again. I thought you were saying to everyone else, have we asked something?
Has this wrestler been a world champion?
Yes.
Last time you was world champion. Currently on TV. Oh.
Okay, Gav.
Okay. Has this wrestler been on TV this year?
I think, again, unless there's something obscure I'm not sure about, I think it's a no.
Okay. So there was a question about AEW and you said no. So is this wrestler currently signed to WWE?
No. They're not currently into the WWE.
Should have phrased it better. Damn it.
Well, they're not in NXT if that's what you're going with.
No. I was gonna say, is this wrestler currently signed to WWE, or has he been signed to WWE this year? Was he signed to WWE this year?
Okay, I'll allow that updated question, and the answer's still no. Okay, Darius.
I don't know. It's a really tough one. Just because I think other people are going towards this person. Is this person about to have a cup named after him, or a competition where the name is on the cup in AEW?
No. It is definitely not.
Yeah, did you mean Bret Hart? Did you mean Bret Hart in like
Owen Hart.
joke?
He meant Owen Hart.
Owen Hart.
Oh, Owen.
But Owen Hart was never world champion. Although
right.
recently I have been campaigning that when he won it for a moment that should be recognised, but they don't recognise it. Okay.
I didn't even know that he won it for a moment.
Oh yeah, like he beat Brett for it, and then they just discounted it.
Oh, right.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cap, is it your question?
Yep. Okay, very important one. Does he wear tights when he was in the ring?
Oh God, not this again. How do we define tights? What was the like long trouser like?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No. Oh, hang on. Yes. Sorry. Yes. 100%. Yes. I think. Shit.
Like, back out
Do you know what? It's not something I'm 99. Yes, I'm saying 100% yes. And to give you a bit of information, it's not the only way that they've done things. At points in the career, then yes, but at other points perhaps not.
Okay.
Hang on, Gav's question, Gav. But feel free to deliberate.
Sorry,
Let's discuss a little bit.
Did he have long hair or was he bald? Sorry.
You haven't asked that. Are you asking?
Oh no, I was talking to the guys.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, there's something that I just thought of. So, let's look at what we have. A male wrestler, not in AEW or WWE, hasn't been on TV for quite some time, has been world champion. However, David did say that when he refreshed his Twitter, this was the first name that came up. So someone who is in the news or
Not necessarily.
or someone he follows. Okay, it might be someone he just follows. Right.
That was a tough one.
But this wrestler has had a match in the last 10 years.
How many questions do we have, though?
I don't know, to be honest. We'll
You
say
said
that you
yes.
get to the end of this round, and then you can have like 2 more rounds because I've lost track.
All right. Does he wear pink and black?
He
That's
definitely
wild.
He definitely has done, but not exclusively, and not necessarily together.
What?
Kind of frogs.
Just pink and then black.
Yeah. Okay.
Who wear a full pink bodysuit?
I see where your thought process was going. Okay, TJ.
I'm really lost.
Pink, and then black.
Wow.
But not exclusively either.
I mean, we don't have anything to go towards. We just know that this person's neither signed to AEW or.
I'm just thinking, of all the world champions that wore pink or black, you got a few. You've got Brett, obviously.
Brett. Sean.
You've got Sid, Sean.
Ziggler.
Then again, yeah. Was that WWE championship?
But like Ziggler always like worn tights. There was the time that he wore like a green jumpsuit,
Yeah.
but most of
he's
the
got
times
the
he wore
Warrior.
tights.
Macho Man. So
I think what you're establishing is every wrestler has wore pink at some point.
that's what I'm trying.
Can I ask? I'm asking this to you guys. Can I ask him whether this wrestler is alive? We don't even know if this person is.
That one
He
now.
wasn't drafted.
He
Like,
wasn't
why-
drafted. He wasn't. So you need to. Okay, so is this wrestler alive?
Yes, I sincerely hope so, but yes. I've not heard anything to the
Oh,
contrary.
so, but he has no idea. So okay, so he has gone out of time. Really has.
It's
gone.
Brett.
I think so. I think it's Brett as well. Shall we ask a few
Okay.
more questions to confirm?
Yeah, like Brad the Hitman Hart questions. Hit him.
You know who Brett the Hitman Hart is, right? Cap?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Ask about the shades.
Cap?
Whose
It's my
question was
question.
it?
Okay.
Hey, hang
I
on.
thought
Who asked the last question?
I did.
TJ
Well,
asked-
then it's
TJ
Darius's question.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Is he famous for wearing sunglasses?
He. What a weird question. Is he famous for wearing sunglasses?
Yeah, is WWE Fraser is the sunglasses popular? You know, do they go with his gimmick or part of his gimmick? Is probably
He. Wow, this is going
John
so
Morrison
wrong.
also.
Right, you don't know.
wore
Okay,
sunglasses
so
a lot.
yeah, he more often than not wears sunglasses. To give
You
any
can't
sort
hide
of
it,
follow up,
David.
I'd say
Good luck.
he doesn't always wear sunglasses. It's the best I can say. Cap.
Can I Should I guess,
One sec.
or should I go with?
No, 1 sec. Has Brett had a match in the last 10 years? Because Cap asked whether this wrestler...
He was in the ring, yeah.
But had he had a match? Did he have a match?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I know he
And
was
David,
in the
what I
Survivor
meant
and
was in ring
SummerSlam.
and performing.
2011. So, was he in the
Yeah.
WrestleMania anytime? Or
I mean, he was in that SummerSlam match, and I think he faced the Miz, made the Miz tap.
You know what? I'm just gonna go a very, very direct question, and then I'm just gonna give it to Gav. Is this character wrestler's nickname the Hitman?
No.
Oh shit!
No. We'll say there are. I think there are 2 questions left, just because literally the next show is meant to be on in 8 minutes. But let's see if we can get there.
And then black.
Okay, let's see if we can pull a Sarajit.
Sunglasses.
I'm gonna.
Pink, black.
That narrows it down, right? Did we say WWE or did we say world champion?
World champion.
Oh, world champion. Oh. Alright. Has this guy worn face paint?
Not famously, I don't think. Like,
It might be Ric Flair.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
So apparently this guy is really experimental with his attire.
I think it might be Ric Flair or Sid Justice. Cyclops.
Has Rick ever worn tights?
That's the point.
What about possibly Batista, I was thinking.
Batista. Oh, right.
Because obviously he has colourful tights, obviously his tights change. He wears sunglasses. He's not in the WWE. He has had a match within the last 10 years. I'm not sure about
Pink trunks.
I think he did it some. Well, I'm not sure. I can't
He was
remember.
famously
he did.
Blue Teaster at one point.
Yeah.
Was
Pretty sure he was Pink Tista as well.
Pink Teaster.
Is this the last question?
I think so, yeah. But then I'll allow you to each take a guess if you want to stab in the dark.
Okay, is he Batista?
No, and TJ, you are wrong. So TJ, you have used your guess there. But Darius, Cap, and Gav, if you want to take another guess at who it is.
Hey,
I just can't think of anything pink. I mean, like, generally pink, but like, pink. And sunglasses.
Mm-hmm.
I
Dolph
think
Ziggler.
Batista wears sunglasses. Why did I even go with that?
I'm gonna go with Dolph Ziggler.
You guessing Dolph Ziggler, Gav?
Yeah. Out.
Incorrect. Guys,
Dolph's signed with WWE. He said he's not signed with WWE.
technically, I don't know. I don't know if I did. Did you clarify that? Or did you
that
ask
was
if
my
he was
question.
in?
Is he signed
Okay,
with WWE?
okay. Well, if that is the case, then no, he is not signed with WWE. Okay, Cap and Darius. Are you going to take a stab in the dark?
Rob Adam.
Oh, I like that stab. That's a very good stab in the dark. It's incorrect though. Cap.
Any names, because like I have no idea. Just give me
Please
a
don't go
random
with
name.
John Cena. Don't screw this up. Don't go with John Cena.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna go with John Cena.
And
It's a John Cena.
it's incorrect. It's incorrect. Oh, guys. Do you know, if you mentioned it a few times, you never did clarify if it was WWE World Championship. But you know that they say that all men are created equal. But you look at me and you look at Samoa Joe and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally you can go and wrestle with one another and you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak and I'm Scott Steiner.
It's Samoa Joe, right?
No, it's not Samoa Joe. It's Scott Steiner. It's Scott Steiner.
Ah.
Yeah, he's like the Steiner Brothers days. They were wearing pink. They were wearing blue.
Yeah.
You look at Bron Breakker and what he wears. That's basically what Scotty used to wear as well. And yeah, WCW World Champion. I looked him up and like every photo of him, he's got like these glasses on. I was like, well, it wasn't. a thing, but he always came out wearing glasses and chainmail. But yeah, Scott Steiner. Okay, guys, what I could say with, even though we didn't get too many game showy type rounds, TJ, you are this week's champion with the most points. So well done, TJ. Well done. Let's put you on spotlight, and boom, there's the belt. But let's very quickly find out where we can find everyone on social media. And with this, Darius, where can the people find you?
Oh, hello. So, as usual, you can find me at what I hope is All Elite Wrestling UK's biggest UK fan page at All Elite Wrestling UK on Facebook. We now also have a female-only page as well, so we've basically stolen it from AEW. So if you're female interested in wrestling and you want to talk to other females interested in wrestling, AEW Heels UK is where you can find us.
Awesome. Are them like, so how long is there like a UK AEW female base that you're discovering?
Well, hopefully. It sort of came about because it got requested by one of the members of the group. They were asking about if there's any other females. I mean, we got a couple of admins that we have are female, so we got about an equal share. I think it's 4 males, 4 females. So we thought, yeah, why not? Why not just, do an all female, see if we got any interest. And I think it's really good. Yeah. I'm not sure how many people are on the page because I have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Sounds cool. Get them on the show. Like, we've had like females on the show a smattering of times, but we always say about it's like it's just guys. So invite them along.
Do my best, yeah.
Awesome. Cap, where can the people find you?
You can find me in Sword Deeds, where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I walk through the puppet. And you can also find me on tomorrow's show on Geek and Xstreamed.
Awesome. Gav, where can the people find you?
Find me right here.
Boom. My name's David Pstansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pstansky. Go to www.xstreamed.tv. TJ, where can the people find you?
As usual, you can find me in my mom's basement because that's where wrestling fans stay. And although people think Tony Khan pays me to say good things about AEW, he hasn't paid me enough, so I haven't been able to move out. So.
Okay. Well, from me, from everyone else, stay safe, stay extremed, and keep slamming and jamming, Mother Hubbards. Boom. We are off the air.
Can't see us anymore.
Awesome, guys. Great show. Great show.